The time is now.
The time is now.
We're leaving. We're out of here. We've been here for how many months?
Since February, so coming up on 10 months.
April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Almost 11 months.
Oh my.
Almost a whole year we've been in this Airbnb. Most of you guys have been asking, what the heck? How have you been in an Airbnb for a year? This doesn't make sense. There's another house, and then you're building a house. Kristin, fill them in.
It's a long story, and we've just wanted to wait till we can put it all in one video and explain our living situation to you guys, because a lot of things have happened, crazy things, and we wanted to make sure it was all, signed, sealed, delivered before.
I'm yours.
Yeah. So basically, you know that we found this Airbnb when we were moving from LA to Tennessee. Marcus actually found it, and I was like, such a cute house. We'll live there for 1 or 2 months while we find our house of our dreams.
Right. And that house of our dreams, which turned out to not be the house of our dreams. We're glad that we're not in it.
It was the house of our nightmares.
It was a house of our nightmare. Did you tell them anything about that house or what happened to that
No,
house?
we can tell them now because we were waiting for all the legal stuff.
That was the biggest nightmare of all time. Like, there's been so many things we haven't... Okay, here we go.
Insert a picture here of how I felt during that time.
Very sad.
That picture of me on the couch.
Okay, when we were moving from LA to Nashville, we came and we visited one time to make sure, yes, this is what we want. Because we had both come to Nashville before. We knew it. Our families, or my family's from Tennessee, so, we know it. But we wanted to come together and make sure, is this the place? We came, while we were here visiting, we saw this house on Zillow. We were like, wait a second, this could be a great house, but there's no way we could afford it. We ended up putting an offer on it, and they accepted this offer. So we were like mind blown, because we were still in LA, and we were like, okay, we're gonna move, but maybe we'll move in a couple months. And it was like, okay, now it's time to move because we got accepted on this house. So it jump started everything, and we had to find a place to Airbnb. Basically while we just closed on this house, which we were so excited because we didn't know if the closing was going to be a month or 2 months, so we said, let's just get this house. I think we got it for 2.5 months just to be safe and have a place for storage. Correct. This Airbnb that we're in. So that house ended up being an absolute nightmare, and it went on and on and on and dragged out for 5 months, maybe 6 months.
I think 6 months. We were like in purgatory with that house.
Do you want to explain why we didn't move into that house for 6 months?
Yes, I've been waiting to share this story for so long.
This guy is the biggest twink of all time.
He twinked us. Let's just say that. So we got accepted to this house. I'm pretty sure I mentioned on video, guys, we found our dream house and we got accepted. So I hope everything works out perfectly. Mm-hmm. Okay, so our closing date kept getting...
I'm sorry to interrupt, but can I just also say, before we get down this very long road, Kristin is 4.5 months pregnant, about to have a baby, and we're still trying to find out where we're living. So just all the stress of moving in general across country just compounded by 10 because she's pregnant and literally walking around like this, and we're like, where are we going to be living? Sorry to interrupt, but that just like...
Good point.
That was the cherry on top.
That was the freaking cherry on top. This guy was in a lot of financial trouble, which we didn't know. He had to keep moving the closing date further and further for all of these random reasons.
And he was lying. He was lying to us. Sorry, it's just like, I don't want to make it seem like he had financial issues. Like, he was a shady guy.
No, he was a shady guy.
He was a shady guy.
He was trying to basically
He was trying to screw us over.
Yeah.
He was trying to... Okay, do you mind if I just say the...
I wanted to
You say it. You say it.
Okay. So we are 3 days from closing. We're like, finally, this heck is going to come to an end and we get to move into the house. I get a call from our realtor, Kristin, Marcus. This guy he had basically $2 million of tax fraud that he had committed. So now the house was going to be owned by the bank.
The IRS.
A lien. A lien was going to be put on the house.
By the IRS.
So now we couldn't buy the house.
No, we could. He was saying, take it. You guys can still move in. It's going to be fine. Because once we took the house, we would have been hit
We
with the
would've-
lien, and we would have owned the IRS all of his money because
Imagine.
the IRS took his house as an asset, and then we would have had to pay. So we would have been doubly royally screwed, and he was lying to us, and he lied to everyone. He lied to his real estate agent. He lied to our real estate agent.
Can I answer something? Not answer. He made his realtor cry. Like, his realtor called us so many times
He said,
crying,
I hate my client.
being
yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry for what we have been putting you guys through. Meanwhile, I'm crying every day.
They kept moving the goalposts and saying, well, the IRS any minute is going to release the lien. And then our house that we actually bought came up on the market while we were still in contract with this other one, but we were kind of saying like, okay, let's start looking at other houses just in case. And I said, no, I didn't want our house because I was like, it's going to be too much work. We're going to have to do a lot of building. It's going to take a long time. And my heart was in this other house. But Kristin was obsessed with the house that we bought, which we're obsessed with now, obviously. But we said, no, like, it's too much. We have to cancel our contract with the old house. And maybe that might come through. And I'm not ready to just jump ship and move into this house that would need a lot of work. So someone else buys it. It goes off market, and that's it. And then 2 weeks later, the house comes back up on the market.
The day that Marcus and I basically decide we don't want to go into a legal battle for this first house. So we're like praying, asking God what we should do. And that day, Marcus was like, it's official. I think we need to move on from this house. And that same day, our house that we actually bought came back on the market. We went and saw it one last time. We put an offer in and we got it.
Yeah.
So it was insane timing by God. It was like one of those things where we were trying to get this thing to work for so long, like trying to make it work.
And God was just closing that door.
And God was
like,
just
no.
closing the door. No, this is not for you. This is not for you. We're like, but maybe God still wants us to get it.
We have 5 times the amount of land.
We're
It's
getting to
actually bigger.
build our dream house
Yeah.
basically now. So
It's way
that
better.
was like our first crazy housing situation here in Tennessee.
So, meanwhile, we've been staying in this Airbnb for a very long time. We keep extending it another month, and I finally approached the guy. This is before we closed on our forever house, we'll call it. I said, would you guys ever potentially sell this house? Because me and Kristin thought maybe we could buy it, and then we could sell it if we want to upgrade, or maybe we'll just live here. We don't know. And the guy said, yeah, I would be willing to sell it. It ended up being a little bit more than what we would have spent, but my parents were wanting to move from Florida and spend most of the time here because they have grandchildren here now. So I asked my parents, I said, are you guys interested in buying this Airbnb, and we could potentially rent from you, and it would help you guys out because you would already have a renter, and we wouldn't have to pay so much in Airbnb fees, and it just gets very expensive when you're renting on Airbnb for a long period of time. The guy was like, yeah, I'll sell it. And my parents bought it, and so that's why we've been living in this place for a very long time. And there was a whole, it's been so long, guys, it's been almost a year, but each one of these crazy things, like the IRS house, that was like months of our life. And then the house that we eventually bought, like that was months of like, it went off the market and then it came back. And then dealing with like buying this Airbnb was like a whole thing. But essentially the person who owned this house was a very famous country singer, it turns out. And it turns out that, I don't know, he's very cool. He's awesome. His family's awesome. I don't know if he wants me to, he said he was cool. He's like, yeah, I don't care if you say that you bought it from, but I'm just going to keep his identity as X. But he's a famous country singer. It's Nashville, so. Anyways.
And his when we met him, he told us his kids knew us and watched our videos.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that made him a little more open to selling this house.
But here's the thing. The only reason why he sold the house was because I had to throw in my geo tracker. I know this sounds like an insane, not real story, but I'm legit.
Was part of the price.
Legitimately, he was like, I don't want to sell it, guys. He was getting, I know, because it doesn't make sense, but it's for real. He was getting cold feet, and he was like, you know what? I think I want to keep it for my kids. And I was like, dude, I know you like the geo tracker, because he loved Toot Toot. And I was like, I'll throw Toot 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 Toot. I'll throw Toot Toot in, to sweeten the deal, because I know you love it, and just to show you how much like it would mean for my family. Like, I'm giving up like something of mine that I've had, that's like a prized possession, and I know you're giving up something. And so I think he was just struck by that, and he was like, you know what? Okay, I'll do the deal. So Yeah, I had to do a lot of negotiating with that, but we threw in Toot Toot, and that was literally the thing that tips the scales and gets us this house. So that was pretty wild.
And something crazy is that they sold the Airbnb as is, so all the furniture, everything, Marcus's parents now own. So it's been nice because it's not like we had to do a bunch of furnishing or anything. And it's also been a little bit nice that we didn't have to move all of our stuff twice, out of this place into somewhere else. Which brings us to where we're moving now.
Okay.
Which is also a crazy story that I'll take over.
Okay, great. And really quick, apologize because the sun is setting as we've been filming this video, so it's just like getting progressively darker.
I don't
I'll
like
try
when
to
the sun sets in my videos.
I'll try to edit this in post.
Okay. Well, anyways, so we had been living in this Airbnb now for so long. Not even technically an Airbnb anymore, but when I would post and stuff, I would just say this Airbnb.
We still call it the Airbnb.
Yeah, and y'all were so confused. You're like, how and why have y'all been in here for so long? So that's the story with this. We've been renting from Marcus's parents for months, and this is the last month that we are staying here because this week.
Can I say, before you make the big third announcement, is that we haven't moved into our forever home because all of the supply lines and stuff that you guys have been hearing out,
are
killing us. You can't get windows for 4 to 5 months, the windows that we need for a house. So that has put everything off and everything slowed down and everything got more expensive. So yeah, so that's why we haven't moved into there, because we've been building that house for now going on 4 months-ish.
Yeah, so our actual house project has been like delayed. Marcus's parents want to move into this house and it's just too small for all of us to be living in here. And so a crazy God thing happened because me and Marcus and Stevie and Cezanne have wanted to buy some type of property or land together for I think 4 years now.
We were looking in Colorado
3 years ago. We went to a Colorado property and we were gonna buy it, but it just didn't feel like the right time. So they were actually visiting us here about 2 months ago, and Marcus found this really cute house and he was like, let's just all go see it. So we all go together.
I wanted them to buy it. We had no intentions of being any partners or to buy it or anything like that.
But we all go see it together and we're like, oh my gosh, this house is special. And we just saw such vision for this house and this land and property of what it could be. And we all decided together to go in on this beautiful property and house together, and also made it really fun because we're all doing this together, and also it made it less of a crazy financial burden because it's split half and half, which has been really cool. But we have such insane plans for this, to rent it out for like events and maybe have you guys be able to come stay in it, and
maybe Airbnb, maybe family relatives stay, rent it, who knows.
Yeah,
we have a lot of people living here, a lot of friends.
Yeah, there's a lot of different
things. Did you say
that
your parents may be moving up here?
Yes, my parents are also looking for a house to move up here, so that could be a potential thing. So it kind of just all fell into our lap like unexpectedly, and something really, really nice is that me and Marcus are here in Tennessee and we get to be really hands on deck, making sure it all gets furnished, and we're doing some renovations, which we'll do a whole different video about. But we've just been kind of getting it ready to move in, and me and Marcus are going to be moving in to that house while our house gets finished. Yeah. So, is that confusing? Does that make any sense?
4 different houses, 4 different stories. 1.5 are ours. 1 is my parents. The other one, who knows who bought it, and the IRS still probably owns that house. But it's been a very crazy journey, and we didn't even know where to start because it's just like nothing was finished, nothing was finalized, and we didn't have a place of our own, and we had been living here the whole time. So our scenery and what you guys see hasn't really changed, so we didn't feel like comfortable to be like, hey, we bought this and this is what we're doing. It's like, it just didn't make sense. But now that my parents are moving into this house, and the Stevie and Cezanne split house, let's call it, is getting close for us to be able to move in. We're going to move in there, and then we'll eventually move into our house. And then Stevie and Cezanne I think they're going to come for New Year's, and yeah, it's going to be fun. It's also a place for them to come stay in Nashville. Really, we were kind of like telling them to like, we want you to buy in Nashville so we could like bring them over from Austin, but they're never going to.
But they have a perfect, beautiful dream home in Texas, so I don't think we're going to be able to convince them to move here full time, but even just the fact that now we have this house together, it'll bring them here so much more often. And it's been so fun because all 4 of us love home design and creating a cozy, welcoming space. So getting to all collaborate and do that together has been so nice and like creatively fulfilling because I mean, for me especially, for so long I haven't been able to be creative in decorating because this house isn't mine. I couldn't just put things up that I just wanted to.
And it was already furnished, so
and
it didn't make sense to...
Yeah. And now with this new house that we have with Stevie and Suzanne, it's been so cool to all work together to just make it beautiful, and I just can't wait to start living in there. Even if it's just for a few months, it's gonna be like a breath of fresh air, I think, for us. Yeah.
So that's it. Long story.
That's our wild ride of a housing adventure in Tennessee that's hopefully going to come to a close soon. But you guys are going to definitely start seeing us in a whole new space. So we wanted to keep you guys updated because I know you guys have been very confused about what the heck is going on in our lives. And we just wanted to make sure it was all good until we told you exactly what was going on. But it's also been crazy because it's like we moved here to Tennessee, and I feel like so quickly God has given us so many ways for our family to get planted all around.
Oh yeah.
And it's been crazy. It's been a lot of ups and downs too, because for me not having my own space has been really hard, and I think it's definitely been
a test of patience.
I've learned that you are very patient, and I've learned that I need to work on my patience sometimes, and I think I really have.
Well, that's why God's given you. You don't just supernaturally are given patience. God gives you tests to develop patience, which is not fun, but it's for the best anyway. So
yeah.
All right, should they subscribe and like and blah blah blah?
I mean, if you guys want, you guys can like this video, subscribe. We also have another video we have been having and teasing for a long time.
What?
James's birth video.
Oh, are we gonna do that?
I want to.
I've had this edited for months, and it's not my fault that it's out.
Marcus has it all edited. I've just been like procrastinating putting it out. I don't know why.
But life is great. Life's great. We love it here. All of our family is here, and we're so close to our family that lives in Atlanta and Florida, and it's just so easy to travel, and we've just really been enjoying it, and I think that it's just, we're going to exponentially enjoy it more and more as James grows up, and it's just such a safe, cozy place, and yeah, now the Johns compound is growing. It's getting larger. It's getting bigger.
Yep.
So, anyways.
Yeah.
All right, dudes.
Well, we love you, and get ready for lots of home renovation content because now we're renovating 2 houses. Never thought that was going to happen, but we love you, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.